In a cavern, in a canyon, excavating for a mine, dwelt a miner, 49er, and his daughter, Clementine. The way I look at it is that I'm just doing things out of order. That a lot of people go to college and then go to graduate school and then work for a really long time, and then when they're 35, they find the right person, settle down, and have children. I felt like I would be a good mother, and that I was willing to become one now if that was the way things happened. If I could sit down and tell someone what it's like to be a mother, I would say it's a lot easier than people think it is. And then also subtly difficult in ways that you wouldn't imagine. People don't believe me now when I say that I'm a student at Dartmouth. They just assume that because I've got a child, then that means that I can't be a student. I've got to be either 10 years older than I actually am, or I don't know, high school dropout from somewhere else. But the people that I don't know who look at me or get really excited about my baby, and they peer into the bassinet and they say, "Oh, I want one," and it makes it sound like I'm not part of their group, that I'm of a different species than they are. I'm of the species that can't have a real job and isn't going to go places because I've got a baby. I was studying in Sanborn Library with Finn. Somebody sent me an anonymous email from one of the Sanborn computers saying, "Hey, you have a really cute baby and it's great to see him around, but could you please totally take him out because it's reading period and he's really distracting." And what hurt so much about it is that this person obviously knew my name and knew who I was, but was too cowardly to send the email from their own computer and to let me know who it was that needed to say this to me. I also remember just getting a lot of really weird looks being that pregnant girl. Some of my Alpha Theta friends came back from a planning meeting. The Tabard, Phi Tau, and Alpha Theta were throwing a barbecue, and someone from Phi Tau said, "Could you please make sure that girl with the baby doesn't come? We don't want to be associated with her." And one of my Alpha Theta friends stood up for me and just called the guy out and said, "You're an asshole." And rightly so. And it was such a sudden flux of emotions coming from hearing about this, to feel first of all really proud of my friends for sticking up for me, then also feeling really horrified that someone would think to say that, or that their discomfort with my having a baby would be so great that they would actually ask them not to invite me to this event. To know that somebody felt that way just made me feel like such a non-person. Like the girl with the baby. They don't even really know who I am. They don't know who Finn is. To say something like that and to think that having a child while you're in college is something that is so shameful that you wouldn't want people to even be associated with that. I never felt ashamed of myself for having a baby, and it had never occurred to me to feel that way until I heard that they were saying these things about me. And it made me suddenly wonder, well, maybe there is something to be ashamed of, and I never wanted to feel that way. There are things you have to give up, but one of the things that you shouldn't give up, that you shouldn't feel like you are going to give up, is your reputation. There's no reason why anyone here should look at you and say, "Oh, you're a mother or you're a father, that means you fucked up." Like when I'm in places like food court and I've got Finn on my hip, I get a lot of attention from the staff at Dartmouth for being a mother, and they're all really excited about Finn. They all know him, and there's such a contrast between the way the staff interacts with me in Collis or food court compared to the way other students interact with me. I was in college one time and I had Finn with me, and I set my ID down somewhere and somebody stole my ID. It was probably not like 5 feet from me. And I just remember feeling so horrified that they could steal something from someone who has a baby. But I just remember thinking, like, don't you know that my life is difficult enough as it is? I'm not one of the privileged people that you can feel like you're Robin Hooding from. People here make me feel invisible. They make me feel like I don't belong here and that they'd rather not see me. And when I'm walking on the street with my baby, or when I was pregnant, when people would look away from me, it made me feel invisible. And when people see me with the stroller and they don't hold the door open for me, they make me feel invisible. And when people get excited about my baby and they say how cute he is, but then seem really suddenly very surprised and almost horrified that I'm still a student here, that makes me feel invisible. It feels painful and offensive, because it feels like they're making an assumption that I did something that they wish that they could do, but they can't because they're driven and they're going to business school, or they're going to medical school, or they have an internship in Africa or something, and that's why they can't have a baby. I know that there are probably other girls out there who are dealing with this question of being pregnant and not knowing whether they can handle it, and I want to tell those people too that you could handle it. It's not as difficult as it looks, and it would only be easier if people didn't think it were so strange. There's no reason why a girl here can't be smart, driven, gifted, and also a mother. Having Finn has just meant that I don't have to be thinking about what people think of me as, like, am I the person that I wanted to be? Because there's so much else to rejoice in. Finn doesn't care about any of that. And he loves me just for being me, and because I play with him, and because I'll stay up all night with him, and he loves me just for all the little things I do. And I don't need to impress him. He's the first person in my life that I haven't had to impress.
Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. In a churchyard near a canyon where the myrtle doth entwine, there grow roses and other posies fertilized by Clementine.